Scorpio, 2026 is a year that demands precision, honesty, and deep restructuring, but not through chaos or sudden upheaval. This is not a loud year, it is a consequential one. What you change now reshapes how you live, work, and sustain yourself over the long term. The transformation does not arrive through crisis, it arrives through discipline, awareness, and deliberate adjustment. From the end of January, Neptune enters Aries and begins dissolving old patterns in your daily life. Your relationship with work, routines, health, and productivity starts to soften and shift. You may feel less tolerant of rigid schedules, meaningless tasks, or environments that drain you energetically. At the same time, you may become more sensitive to stress, fatigue, and subtle physical signals. Neptune exposes where your lifestyle has been quietly exhausting you. For Scorpio, this is an important recalibration. You are used to pushing through intensity, but 2026 teaches you that endurance without alignment is self-sabotage. This is a year to listen to your body and intuition rather than forcing output. What you release now creates space for a more sustainable rhythm. In February, Saturn follows Neptune into Aries, and this is where restructuring becomes unavoidable. Responsibilities increase in your work life. Expectations become clearer. You may be asked to take on more responsibility, refine your role, or commit to long-term systems that support your productivity and health. Saturn does not allow improvisation forever. It demands consistency. If you ignore your limits, consequences appear quickly. If you respect them, stability follows. For Scorpio, this is empowering. Discipline gives you control. You begin building routines that protect your energy rather than draining it. This is quiet mastery, not restriction. Also in February, the first eclipse of the year arrives with an annular solar eclipse in Aquarius, activating home, family, and emotional foundations. A new chapter begins in your private life. Living situations may change. Family dynamics shift. Emotional patterns rooted in the past rise to be addressed. This eclipse asks you to redefine what safety means to you now. You are no longer building from old survival strategies. You're building from self-awareness. Boundaries become clearer. What you establish here supports everything else you are trying to build. In early March, a total lunar eclipse in Virgo brings clarity to your social world. Friendships, group affiliations, and long-term goals reach a turning point. A connection may end naturally, or a shared vision reaches completion. You see clearly which alliances support your growth and which quietly drain your energy. Scorpio thrives on depth, not noise. This eclipse helps you simplify your future by choosing quality over quantity. You become more selective about where your energy goes, and this makes everything else more effective. As spring unfolds, momentum accelerates again by the end of April when Uranus enters Gemini. This marks a significant shift in how you share resources and connect deeply with others. Matters involving shared finances, debts, investments, or joint ventures may change suddenly. Emotionally, intimacy becomes more honest, less controlled, and more unpredictable. One of the most important background shifts of this year is something you feel immediately, even if you cannot name it at first. Uranus is no longer opposing your sign. The years of constant external unpredictability, sudden reversals in relationships, and the feeling of being pushed into change by others begin to fade. You are no longer reacting, you are choosing. This alone gives 2026 a more controlled, intentional tone than the years before it. Uranus in Gemini challenges power dynamics. You are pushed to release control patterns rooted in fear rather than trust. This is not instability for its own sake, it is liberation. You are learning that true power does not come from managing everything, it comes from transparency and adaptability. Throughout the year, and especially in the second half, Mercury becomes a quiet ally for you. Mercury spends a significant amount of time moving through water signs and later in the year remains in Scorpio for an extended period. This strengthens your mental clarity, strategic thinking, and emotional intelligence. Conversations become more precise, decisions are made with depth rather than impulse. By mid-year, Jupiter enters Leo and expands your career and public life. Opportunities for recognition, advancement, or leadership appear. You may step into a position of greater authority or visibility. Jupiter rewards the discipline you've been cultivating, reminding you that ambition backed by structure produces results. This is not empty praise, it is earned progress. You begin to see tangible returns on the adjustments you have made earlier in the year. In August, intensity peaks with a total solar eclipse in Leo, resetting your professional direction. A new career chapter begins. You may change roles, redefine your public image, or commit fully to a path that aligns with your long-term goals. This eclipse asks you to take your work seriously and to lead with confidence, not force. Toward the end of August, a partial lunar eclipse in Pisces closes the eclipse cycle by touching your heart. Love, creativity, and emotional expression reach a turning point. A romantic story, passion project, or emotional pattern completes its cycle. You are reminded that intensity alone is not fulfillment. Vulnerability is required. By the end of 2026, Scorpio, you are living with greater intention and control, not through dominance, but through awareness. This year taught you that power grows when you build a life that supports your energy, values, and long-term vision. What you refine now strengthens everything that follows.